Hi, Udi. Yesterday you talked about CQRS. What the heck is that?
So CQRS is an acronym for Command Query Responsibility Segregation. It's either a pattern or an approach, depending on who you ask, about building distributed collaborative systems to better understand what the business problem is and to model that more effectively in code. That's the short answer.
Okay, but there you finished up with the standard layer model of user interface, business layer, and data access layer. So we should change all the thinking and all the doing right now.
Well, I'd say that the abstraction of layers is a useful abstraction, but it's not the only abstraction that we need. So in my talk I gave an example of if we looked at it from a physical architecture perspective, the rules of UI, BL, DAL are similar to saying that all houses have roofs and all houses have walls. While that is an accurate description of houses, it is not enough for us to actually go and build a specific house for someone's specific needs. So it's not that we're doing away with those abstractions, we're adding other abstractions that give us more detail about what's the specific needs of a given project and how to handle those, even while respecting the previous abstractions. So I'd say it's not about changing the way that we've written software with respect to those abstractions, but if anything, helping us see what we've been missing in our traditional approaches and give us new tools and techniques to address those challenges.
Okay, so the one size fits all isn't right anymore.
Well, arguably, one size fits all never was really right. It's hard to expect, let's say, a healthcare project and a financial services project to be one size fits all, just because their requirements are so different. So in that sense, it's not surprising that we couldn't come up with one technical architecture that addressed all issues. Now, CQRS, in the fact that I describe it as an approach, it's more about the questions that we ask and the way that we evaluate requirements and the way that we design the user interface to address the specifics of what makes this project special, what makes a reservation system different from an online bookstore. And by getting into those specifics and modeling them explicitly, we're able to do the minimal amount of work to solve the maximum amount of specific requirements on this project without trying to come up with a generic solution that could be used in any number of other places.
Does this in any way go together with cloud or with NoSQL?
So I'd say that when you look at NoSQL databases, one of the things that a lot of them remove are the concept of foreign keys and referential integrity. And in CQRS, one of the things that comes out of that approach is that the view model side of things often does not require relations very much, does not require referential integrity, and that also on the command side of things in our storage, once we've removed a lot of extraneous information that is no longer needed over there, then we also may end up with what's known as aggregate roots in the domain-driven design lingo, where they are strongly encapsulated pieces of work and data that go together that don't necessarily reference each other directly. So in that case, again, we don't necessarily need referential integrity across aggregate roots. So in that sense, having a NoSQL database that does not support referential integrity is not it's not a drawback of that storage technology when you're doing CQRS. And both of those things make it a lot easier to move to the cloud because, again, the cloud, as you go to scale, is not very good across large number of nodes to be able to maintain referential integrity and those kinds of things. So if anything, CQRS brings us a large way forwards to use today's newer technologies, NoSQL databases, and cloud-based computing more effectively. But I view that as a byproduct of solving the real business problem the right way, rather than sort of the other way around, which is, well, this new NoSQL thing looks interesting, let's use it everywhere, or this cloud thing looks interesting, let's use it everywhere. One of the things that I mentioned in my talk is that there are certain elements that cloud computing still needs to mature in, that unless you align your architecture the right way, you may end up falling afoul of those kinds of missing features that end up making your system, even though it's highly available, very unreliable. So we need to balance all these forces, and CQRS does help us get where we need to go.
Thank you, Udi. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.